Hey, what's going on, YouTube? So, as I am a man of my word, and as I've done so on at least two occasions in the past, I've decided to give YouTube, or at least this primary channel, a break. And here's why. I sat down and I got to really thinking about it, and I realized that everything in life comes with pros and cons. And what we choose to do in life, right down to who we choose to be with, who and what we choose to deal with, depends on what we decide is most important, what we hold closest to our bosom, as to whether or not we choose something that may weigh more negatively on us than positive, or what we view as more of a pro than a con. But everything has good and bad. And what I realize is that when it comes to freedom of speech, when it comes to expressing myself freely, that is going to come with a con here on YouTube. Now, the pro of YouTube, of course, is the amount of traffic and attention and popularity that you can build in, a very short period of time, like certain YouTubers on here that have only been on here a couple of years, and now they have like 100,000 subscribers. But on the low end of that, YouTube, which is like CNN, a liberal controlled network, they want to, and even if they were a conservative controlled network, they want to control the narrative, for personal agenda and monetary reasons. The other pro to being on a massive platform like YouTube is that if you can get your channel monetized like PewDiePie, you can make a lot of money in addition to being popular and getting lots of views. But again, the downside to that is you have to put up with a lot of flack, a lot of thought policing. YouTube has even gone as far now in their community guidelines, FAQ, to have the unmitigated gall to say that sexual orientation and gender is something that is changing in the eyes of society, which means that your opinion and your videos and your commentary, YouTube actually believes this. And I know they're just protecting their business investment, but they actually have the nerve to indicate to you that they may censor your videos based on what is the popular opinion in the world today, whether you agree with it or not, whether you like it or not. Now, see, this sets a very dangerous precedent because it's bordering on communism and even on fascism, and most certainly, as we already know, on socialism. So I realize that, as with every content creator, of course, I want my free speech, but I would also like to see, good returns on my investment. I'm not a very big YouTuber. I only have 3,000 subs, but for 3,000 subs, 1,000 views per day and per video on average is pretty damn good. But I also realize that I only have a handful of loyal supporters that will literally follow me anywhere I go. Now, when you work on a big project, it's human nature. It's just, essentially what we are here as so-called content creators. We're like tiny film directors and film producers. Okay? A industry that once Hollywood, only Hollywood and Broadway controlled, now has been opened to the entire world of talented people who come from a diverse range of walks of life. And so when you put effort into something, I'm not talking about people that just clout chase and clickbait, but when you are truly a master at your craft, like myself, when it comes to, video production and commentary, you want to see returns. You want to see that the time, effort, and sometimes, yes, money that you invested in your craft and you invested in that creation comes back with traffic, you know, people commenting, people thumbing up your stuff, and if you're business minded, money being donated to your account. But I understand now that these attributes, these, privileges come with great consequence. As with everything, for example, people love to eat. People like to eat good food in westernized culture, especially here in the United States. But and you can eat as much as you want. You can taste all the colors of the rainbow when it comes to food over here, whereas there's certain parts of the world that are starving. But the downside to that is heart disease, heart failure, stroke, diabetes, you know, gum disease, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, high blood sugar. So everything comes with a pro and a con. And I had to sit down and I had to think to myself, what is most important to me? Is me getting several thousand views per video and building a channel, every year that, to the point where I have several thousand and, up to as many as 10,000 subscribers? Or is my freedom to speak freely to upload a video and know that it won't be fucked with and that I don't have to watch what I say and be careful, with how I express myself. And even if I am careful with how I express myself, the video can still be flagged down. To know that no matter how popular I get, even if someday I get over 50,000 subscribers, which will never happen because mouths like mine are a direct threat to, the ass backwards, immoral social justice status quo that, the Google slaves YouTube now serve. But even if I get that high, my channel is not really my channel. It's YouTube's channel. It's just like people who do rideshare services, using their personal cars to pick up passengers and drop off food. Uber and Lyft can deactivate those accounts at any time. You were never really self-employed. They just passed that shit off because it's easier for them to get out of paying you benefits. And it's the same thing with YouTube and all these other bullshit ass tech companies that are large. They use you to make themselves rich and popular. And when you are of no longer of use, or you're in the way of one of their agendas, or you're seen as a threat, just like in the Matrix, they can yank you. So even if I was to get 50,000 subs or over 100,000 subs, like Paris Milan, that channel could be taken away from me at any given time for any reason. And the only thing I could do is file an appeal, knowing that 95% of the time, YouTube sides with their original bullshit decision to censor somebody's shit, whether it's a video or an entire channel. So I had to ask myself, while again, it's human nature that when you create something, you want to see people like it and appreciate it, and the more, the better. Do I really want to risk building myself up here like I did over on a couple of years ago when I had a channel with over 5,000 subscribers, for those of you who remember me back then, and then had some feminist bimbos come along with a hit list and troll flag the channel down along with several other brothers? Or do I want to go somewhere else and, not exactly start from scratch because I'm well established now on these other channels, and, create something and know that it's only going to get a tiny amount of views, but they're my loyal supporters, but at least know that my content is 95%, 90 to 95% safe from censorship. And then as I was contemplating that, I realized that what I'm really doing or trying to do here on YouTube is being a hypocrite and contradicting myself. Because on the one hand, like a lot of YouTubers, I'm complaining about the system that I know isn't going to change, and I have no power to change it. But I keep coming here uploading content, knowing that at any given time, any one of my videos can get yanked for some bullshit. There can be a video up for 5 years and all of a sudden they just decide to take it down. That's actually happened to me before. And also, I'm being a hypocrite because if I really believed that YouTube was full of Myrta, I should have been gone a long time ago. So I've decided to give at least this main channel a break. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on building up my platforms over on the alternative channels. Now, I know that those who are my loyal followers will follow me anywhere because they don't enjoy me as the YouTuber. They enjoy Brian Solange as the content creator. But of course, as with any content creator's fan base, your direct primary amount of supporters is not going to be as much as those who are, more loosely following your content and are really, more clout chasers than they are diehard supporters. So I know I'm going to have to trade in views and comments and likes for a peace of mind that my content is secure and safe on these other platforms, which ironically were created because of the amount of censorship on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, and on YouTube. These alternate platforms are coming out of the woodworks, including our very own Black-owned and operated Black Avenger TV, because of the censorship here and elsewhere. And these people, they don't care, no matter how much you complain, no matter how much you appeal. They can afford not to care what you think. Why? Because there's so many people that removing you or screwing you over, you will not be missed. So if that's their attitude, not giving a fuck about you, then you have to have the exact same attitude about them and everyone else. Because as we know, it's a dog-eat-dog world. And since I was never in this specifically for monetary intent to begin with, I can afford to lose a few hundreds or thousands of views in exchange for knowing that my content is safe from censorship and that I am free to express myself the way I fucking please 100% of the time. Because there's no guarantee, as has been proven in my content, that even if you're politically correct, if it's a hot button topic that they've decided is not touchable, like Jews or LGBTQ, they'll just yank your shit anyway. just because you're talking about it. So there really is, it's like General Armistead said during Gettysburg before Pickett's charge in the American Civil War, when the artillery was falling from Union cannon fire on the Confederate positions around the forest that they were going to step out from under to charge the Federal position in the center. He said, "Keep still, men, pipe down. There's no safe place here. One spot's as good as the next." Because, cannonballs were dropping all around him. You run over here, you could get blown up by a fucking cannonball. You run over there, you could get blown up by a fucking cannonball. You stay in one place, you could get blown up by a fucking cannonball. Or not. And so it really gets mind-numbing having to deal with this every single fucking day. Not knowing if the next day you're going to get an email from YouTube's bullshit moderation team talking about they yanked another one of your videos. And so I have decided that I'm going to give this channel a long break. This will help me build myself up and the Black Avenger TV site up by further establishing myself and putting more time, money, and effort into platforms that actually seem to care about and protect an individual's right to freely express themselves. On that note, if you would, and you know how to read and you like reading, click the link in the description box where you can see the amount of hell that Gab, which is Twitter's equivalent, has gone through just in the last few years, simply because they are protecting people's right to freely express themselves. From having their Bitcoin account removed to people trying to get the domain company that owns their domain to block their domain, to Google and Apple blocking the Gab app on their stores. We live in a society now, and this has actually been predicted in history, historically. We live in a time, I wouldn't say it's the end times because I don't believe in all that biblical stuff, but we live in times where the abnormal has become normal and backwards has become forwards. And not only that, but this nonsense from Cardi B to LGBT is being pushed. It's being forced down people's throats. It's being heavily protected by those who are in power financially, in the entertainment industry, politically. So if you want to freely express yourself, you have to do what these swirlers call going where you're celebrated, or at least going where you're more protected than not. So for those of you who are willing to follow me, all the links, as they have been for well over a year, are down in the description box. Thank all of you who have really, truly supported my content over the years here on YouTube. Thank all of you who have signed up to me over on Black Avenger TV and will continue to do so. Thank all of you who have supported me over on Bitchute. Thank all of you who have donated to me on PayPal. This isn't my last hurrah on YouTube. This is just me saying, see you later. But even when I see you again, I'm never going to see you as much over here as you have seen me before. Talk to you later, guys.